you came to the right place.
Well, hey guys,
Hey
we
guys,
were actually supposed to land right there. Hello, Barb. Good to see you.
we
Who
got
else we got?
someone there now.
We're kind of waiting on Rich. We don't know if he's running late. Well, obviously he's running late, but hadn't talked to him. So I'm sure he'll be joining us here in a moment because we talked about it yesterday. Susan, hello, Susan. Just to let you know, I got your email, so I'll work on that for you. Satnin, hello, all. Nice to see you back here with us today, all of you.
Sorry guys, we're going into winter. I look
Yeah,
like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I'm at least warm.
it's Obi-Wan Cam. Hello, chilling in Canada. Lori, hello, Lori.
All
Um,
the usual gang.
we got a lot of stuff we're doing. Lily Ramos, hello, Lily. Um, Susan, yeah, guys, and I got a bunch of stuff planned for today. We're gonna make a couple honorable mentions, or mentions of kind of a tribute dedication for a couple of events that one is a today in history, or actually I think it was yesterday, but and then of course we had the passing of Mr. David Briggs, and he's got
Oh
quite a
no.
history. So I got a nice So I got a nice little video that I downloaded, uploaded here so y'all can see. It kind of it's from the news reporting about his passing, and they have a nice little short minute and a half, 2 minute telling his career. I'm blown away. I am blown away by his career. I never, when you're behind the scenes like that, you're not exactly out there all the time. Then we got some cool trivia, and we have
And
and we can see his face.
we
Wow.
can see him.
How you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing good. Just had I don't know, for some reason my computer wasn't catching on the Wi-Fi. Oh.
Oh, okay,
But I'm here. It's better now.
cool. Well, I just telling them about some of the things we got planned. About David Briggs, little tribute to him, and
Hmm.
I got a few cool trivia things. As everybody know, we got bumped off last week, and I think once the week before. So
Was
I've
week
just
before.
figured out that any videos we play are going to have to be 10 to 15 seconds or less. I've never been hit on anything that I've played that short of a time. So the only thing I've really been hit on is I just can't help believing. And then my one time I got hit when I was doing my little taking the track or my one single broadcast when I said bitch one too many times and with too much emphasis, they knocked me out right away.
Just curious, you guys that caught us on the inside the studio last night, what did you guys think?
Oh my
Just curious.
God. Oh my God.
Was it
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
as
Cam,
good for
Cam and
you
I think
guys
it's
listening?
Oh God, dude, it was incredible. That I was like, I was amazed, and I was like crying at the same time, listening
you know
to that song and listening to the way he sang it. I was like, holy.
yeah. Cam and I feel that of all the episodes so far, that one and Burning Love are pretty much a back and forth first second. So
And Rich, you see now the importance about headphones, right?
who you talking to?
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah.
Rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you would never have had that
Yep.
experience had you had your earpods.
Yeah, I got a lot of suggestions too
No, it was
go ahead, Rich.
it was definitely. Hold on, I'm adjusting my volume. There we go. I don't know why that does that. Every time I shut off my computer, the internal volume on my microphone goes down.
Ooh,
It's almost
That's
like
cool.
somebody's screwing with it. It's weird.
you might have a setting in the settings that'll
The
do that.
bully.
Hey, Johan,
I don't
nice
know.
to see you.
Johannes.
We got a good group already starting here.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, I was talking about us getting bumped off, and I don't think that's going to really be much of an issue. But if it does, we're going to be right back. We'll be in a different scene, and we're not going to hide behind some things. So I just don't want to start taking away things that are in the enjoyment of our channel. But I do have to put some limitations on the links and all that, which I don't think it's going to really affect. So we're going to do the final poll for the drama scenes. It's just 2 pictures. Love Me Tender scene and Charles. So we're going to vote on that today. We'll watch a little clip of each real quick. Got some cool trivia. I got what's the next line from a movie, and then I've got some silhouettes. So I had fun putting those together. And then we got the book. And I got some other weird shit. I got a nice little
I have a
video.
question for Cam.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Is
bro.
he? Are you an actual Jedi, or are you a Jedi in training?
I don't know. I, I don't know. I might be biased, so throw that over to Rick. He'll be more objective. If I have to answer, I'll say no, and then Rick might say yes, and if
No.
I say yes, he'll say no.
Only
So
thing this is the only thing I'd say.
I'm your huckleberry.
Did
I'm your huckleberry.
it come through?
Because I was cracking up
Yeah.
yesterday watching in the studio. Rick was like, I call him. What did you say, Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan Cam.
Yeah.
I wonder why that didn't come through.
hey, Rick, you got more volume on the board there, because you coming through a lot softer than Rich.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
I
Whoa.
just put the
Yeah.
microphone a little bit closer to me. Hey, Brent. I'm just trying to figure out why I'm not hearing the sound effects.
Oh,
Oh, I hear
he's
that.
so hot.
No, I tell you,
See, I'm not getting this. I can't hear those.
we can hear.
I don't know why.
I can
Anyway,
hear it.
all right. So we digress. We got a lot of stuff to do today. We got some more book to talk. I got some cool little picture slides, some stage, some pictures, just some little stuff and some weird shit off of our dumb fun and polls thing, and just a couple of things that kind of irritate me. But I like to share it with y'all, see if y'all get irritated too. But that's kind of and we're gonna get back in the book. We're starting with chapter 10. What you guys got anything before we play the game?
Can jump right in. No, I tell you, I know it might look funny, but guys, I ain't kidding. We're really going into winter now, and this place really gets cold.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
boy.
So,
It keeps happening. It says I thought Cam was more like E.T. Well, I called him.
Oh!
I called him Yoda one time.
Yoda.
All right. So this day in history, 50 years ago today, Elvis played Lakeland, Florida, and here's a shot from the picture. These pictures are by 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿. He followed Elvis around, took a lot of great. I got 2 of his books that are really good. That's a shot from that show. That's a shot from the show. He got some great shots. So that was 50 years ago today. He performed in Lakeland, Florida. I think it was 12,000 people.
Yep. Not too far from me.
Yeah. And then, real quick, I want to just talk about David Briggs, who passed away this week. Okay, is it there? Nope, I gotta get rid of that, don't I? There. You guys see him?
yeah.
Okay, so he passed away and I got a little video clip I want to play. It's talking about him from a news report. It's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but I absolutely was blown away by this guy's experience. It's absolutely, it's crazy. So I'm gonna upload it here. Yeah, here we go. So I kind of made some edits on the news report because there's all the intro talk and I'm this person, all that shit. So anyway, this is about David Briggs. This is their kind of a tribute to him on the news when he passed.
And go back to those days 20 years ago, and half the records out of this town would be David Briggs on piano.
The great studio musicians on the most famous recordings are in this certain league. Among them is drummer Paul Lime and his friend for more than 45 years, David Briggs. With David's death at 82, it's hard to even begin to recap all he did. But strangely enough, a block or two of downtown Nashville can help. Usually playing the keys, David was on recordings for Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Dolly Parton. And this isn't scratching the surface of his more than 10,000 sessions. David recorded a commercial jingle with the pre-fame Garth Brooks. The song Margaritaville was recorded at the quadraphonic studio David launched. Then there's the Elvis connection. Michael Gray of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum tells this great story of how in the 60s, David was filling in for another piano player who was running late. Elvis was to record love letters. The original player got in and
Elvis said, hey, wait a minute, where are you going? You know, I really got used to the way you play.
Elvis asked for David back to finish the song.
David Briggs and Elvis Presley ended up having this collaboration that went on for 11 or 12 years.
One of Elvis's best friends, closest friends.
and David couldn't be contained to one genre. This league of Nashville studio musicians could do anything.
And they were bringing in all these like rock artists into Nashville to record with our session musicians.
We'd finish a ballad, some ballad, beautiful ballad, get to the end of the ballad. He'd reach up and put his hand by the piano mic and burr it. Totally irreverent.
He published like Steve Winwood hits, like Higher Love.
He was a musical director for the CMA Awards for probably 15, 20 years.
David eventually set up this recording space on Music Row, House of David.
Just being in this control room without him is,
Shit.
yeah. This is a hard one. This is really a hard one. We all were crazy about David. David is one of those people that will just always be legendary. We're going to miss him.
I'm Boris Sanders, News Channel 5.
I thought that was
Really
interesting.
nice.
I learned
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot
nice
about
video.
Briggs.
Yeah, I didn't know he worked with so many people.
I
Yeah.
knew he did a lot of studio work, but until you see, you know, what the shame about it is, you're not appreciated or understood until after you're gone.
Yeah.
That's the sad part.
And you think about that with a lot of, I'm removing that video from the scene. You know, a lot of people, you know, you know, it's even with Elvis, you know, I think you got
Yeah.
you got it both ways really, but you know, the real Elvis really has. Let me tell you something. With me, I look at Elvis more as a real person than a rock star idol type of thing. You know, once they started releasing stuff like these sessions where you hear him in between and just the stories in the books that's come out, and you know, it's a shame that there's so many people that just are blinded. They wear blinders to the facts. They just love the juicy, you know, BS stories.
It's human nature. It's a shame.
Yeah. So that's that. And then yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, no, Friday was Gladys's
Friday.
birthday. So she would have been 16. No. Yeah, whatever. Something like that.
Very old.
Yeah, you
Yeah, she's up there.
you just don't think of someone being that age, you know?
Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
So, Cam and I are going to do a 9:00 p.m. live broadcast on radio, Blue Moon Radio, with both Cam, with call-in. It's going to be the March 20th, 1974 concert in Memphis.
Yay!
We're doing the
What-
whole concert. And
Wednesday?
Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Okay.
So I'm going to wake Cam's ass up at 3 o'clock, and we're going to have fun. So you know, hopefully you listen in, and maybe even call in when we talk. We'll ask for some call-ins, and you know that's what we're trying to get to, and we're excited. We just did our final test to make sure that Cam's going to be able to hear the process because we're thousands of miles apart, and we tested it 30 minutes before we started today.
Yeah.
And what did you say to me?
Sounded like I was playing the stuff from my own computer.
Yeah, it's going to be
Ah,
cool. So,
that's good.
So for those of you, we're doing it at 9 p.m. this time. We'll do another one at a different time. You know, we can't catch. Obviously, we can't catch everybody. Nobody can, you know, be able to watch us live because of the, you know, time zones. So Cam and I are not messing around. We've pretty much set for sure 9 p.m. every Wednesday will be the concert corner. It will be a new concert, but we're going. Of course, there'll be a replay for that, and then we're also recording it on 𝐕-MUX here. We're doing the video process part of it too. So when we're done, we're going to put the actual show
Whole broadcast
on, the whole broadcast on the radio and then on YouTube. So you'll be able to see us act like asses, you know, or the phone. So we're excited about that and trying to give it to you guys in all different, you know, angles. But
and don't worry, guys. I realized this afternoon, to my great surprise, I've known for a long time I work on the Elvis schedule, so I wake up at the crack of 4 in the afternoon and go to sleep at like 6 in the morning. But that's
Yeah.
not the worst of it. I don't even work out my budget in South African currency anymore. I work it out in dollars because I'm so used to converting everything back. And this afternoon I had to call Rick. I said, "But hold up, my budget's not balancing. Something's not right here." And then he said to me, "That's because you're working in dollars, buddy. You're not working in rands." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, okay."
all right, guys. So we got some trivia. Did I put it there? Yes, I did. Okay, so I have done the same thing we did last week with the little short 5-second, maybe 10-second the most clips of a video from one of Elvis's movie. And when I pause it, you need to type in your comments what you think the next line is going to be. And it could be by Elvis, it could be by somebody else. But you know, here comes the first one. I hope I got it saved in here. Next line, there it is. Okay, this one is from Viva Las Vegas. Now, this is the one I got hit, but we were playing a song. So, this is one of my favorite. This is actually my favorite scene from the movie. I wonder why. All right, so I'm going to play it till a certain spot, and then I want you all to tell me what the next line is.
Can we help you? Yes, ma'am.
Well, then I'd like you to check my motor. It whistles.
What's the next line?
Oh, I knew you were going to pick that part.
Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you. I know a lot of you know this movie. It's one of his. Yeah. Ooh, Anne Margaret turns 84 tomorrow. I should have done it.
Boy,
She
oh
looks
boy,
fantastic.
she looks
She
good
looks
for
fantastic.
84.
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
I know. I saw. I don't think she's really had any kind of really cosmetic surgery.
No, it
She
doesn't
just
even
looks
look
good.
like it.
And I think the women that don't do it are more beautiful than the ones that do it. I mean, look
right.
at Helen Mirren. Look at Sally Field. They won't touch it, and they're still alive. And yeah, Lily says-
to me, that's such a turnoff when they,
so Susan
when they
says
start
that-
pulling the face so far back, they look plastic and like
Yeah,
they
I
look
know.
like dolls. It's I don't
Okay,
know.
so Susan says the next line is "can't blame it." Lily says, "I'm sure it does." Barb says, "I don't blame it. I don't blame it. I don't blame it." Ooh, that's so we have a consensus. And Olga goes, "And Margaret." Okay, so I'm gonna start it over and play it, and then I'll play it with the next line.
How you doing?
Please?
Hey, yeah.
Can we help you? Yes, ma'am.
Well, then I'd like you to check my motor. It whistles.
Don't blame it.
I absolutely love that line. I'm not going to take a chance to play it again because that's one of the ones I got hit on with,
We have to be honest here, guys. Looking at that view, it's not hard to understand why. I mean, you
Yeah.
can,
Hey,
you can,
listen,
you,
I-
you
I
can.
went
s-
I went
You
into
can-
the theater with that movie at 8 years old. When I came out, I was a 21 chain smoker.
I tell you, you can see it straight off the bat. The two of them had a chemistry between
Oh,
them.
yeah.
It's just a
You
natural.
can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
All
see.
right,
I mean,
here's-
even the way she looks at him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this scene is from Girl Happy. Also a great scene. So you gotta. Okay, we all know what it is. When I pause it, what's the next word? What's he say next?
I know what I'd say next, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh, is Dylan with us? Hey, Dylan.
I,
Anybody got any guesses?
yeah, can you scoot over?
Yeah.
Can I scoot over? All right. So, can you see the film?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to play it one more time, and I'll pause it. And has anybody made any guesses? Nobody.
To me, that's heaven right there.
Hot damn. I know what it looks like he's going to do, but I can't say that on here. Dylan, everything has been said on here. We've talked about every form of puberty there is. You know, All right, here we go. We're gonna the fact she refuses to talk about Elvis. That's class. Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm gonna play it again. Pause it. Let's see if we get any more guesses.
Ooh.
Few seconds.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking, you know. I'll take one of those with a. I'll take one of those with a Coke and some fries to go.
I know what I know what I would say. I would be the example amongst everybody. I would be like a, you know, my mother would be so proud now if she had to hear me. But I'd be I'd say something like, "Bless me, Father, for I will sin."
Yeah.
All right, here's what he says. That's what he said. Not much. No. I love that. That's a great one. All right. Oops. What did I do?
You're probably like, cut. I can't stand up straight anymore.
Yeah.
Man, my
guys.
back.
I'm going to
My
need
back.
a few minutes.
Oh shit.
Oh, they cut us off?
Did they really?
Mother humper.
What was that? I played that thing too many times. I get
Jeez.
up with this, guys.
Uh-huh.
We'll be back here in a second. If you guys can hear us, say in the comments, but I don't think you're going to see the video right now. Olga says he said spank me. All right, so I don't know. Let me see if I can go to another. Let's go up here to man. All right, that should put us back online. What do I do? You know.
We can hear you, Satnin said.
Okay, good. You guys can hear us. We're on a different screen now, so you guys should be able to see us here in just a moment. I know that you guys are a little bit behind us.
No, I don't know. Dylan's referring to an incident I know nothing about. What happened? Dylan, tell us.
Is that you, John Wayne? Is this me?
What Dylan said, I'm with Rich. I know what I'm saying. Oh. You heard the story about what happened in Girls, Girls, Girls when they did the... Well, yeah. That's pretty well known. She was already married.
Oh, nice.
You guys on the
You-
Broad Grove.
I was just reading that.
Yeah, she's got a son. Yeah. All right. So yeah, for those of you who don't know what Dylan's talking about, do you guys know? Rich, Cam?
No.
Nope.
He gets a little bit of a stiffy,
Whoops.
and it's
I guess I was in the right ballpark when I said that then.
yeah, you can see it in the film when he's dancing.
That's why I said
Lily.
that.
That's
Cut.
right. Lily's
Cut.
got it.
I'm going to need a few minutes.
Now, Dylan, we already know.
Yeah.
Trust me, anything can be said here. We're just delicate with how we say it. We don't offend anybody, but Anybody that comes on here knows that we go
That
balls
was-
to the wall with everything.
That was a real hard scene to shoot.
Yeah, I might have. I don't know. I don't know why I got. I have 2 more of those scenes. Should we try it?
Pardon the pun. Yeah, let's try it.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah. Okay. This is what's the next line. Add the scene. Let me see. Yeah, they got us back. So this is added to the scene, and everybody knows the answer to this one. So I'm just going to play it the one time.
Okay.
What's the next line?
I think I know.
I think everybody here knows.
I might be wrong though.
See that is sad. What we got? You're kind of close there, Dylan. Kind of close. You're on the right topic. Yeah, Lily got it. Here it goes.
Why is that stuck on there? Okay.
Boy,
Oh, I hit
you're
it the
a pretty
wrong
fancy
spot, but everybody
performer,
got
ain't
it.
you, kid? Now you know what I do for an encore.
Oh.
Okay, so I removed that one. Are we still? Yeah, we're still alive, I guess. This screen will go blank if it does. So let me finish what I got in this scene.
How
right.
do they actually do this? Do they have scouts that actually sit and watch
No,
YouTube
they're
or
It's
algorithms.
robots. They're like little
Oh.
robot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all. There's watermarks or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
metadata
Yeah.
That goes out there.
Yep. They have little detectors.
All right, we're gonna try this one more time. Here's the last one.
minions?
Invisible minions.
Everybody knows the next line in this one.
And I'm never coming home.
Everybody's got to know the next line in that one.
No,
I'll give
I
it a
don't
couple
remember.
Not us young folk.
You don't know the next line, Rich?
Yeah, I really don't.
Oh wow.
I told you I'm not that good on the movies.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm waiting on a few guesses. Satin, yes. Anybody? Satin.
I'm learning as I'm going with
everybody's
this.
got their own conversation go. Lily got the last one right. Okay, we're gonna go for a few seconds. Oh, they can't remember. Okay, here's what she says.
What's your number, honey? I'll call you.
Oh, I remember that now.
Okay, I need to get that out of here before they hit me. Pretty much. And I'm pushing it here, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Yeah, Tracy got it. I'll call you, honey.
We are pushing the boundaries.
All right, so these I won't get hit on. So here we go. Am I? Oh, I can't. I wasn't trivia.
I'm sure she'd call him anything he would want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to watch that
trivia.
too.
I remember that scene now, though. Now I remember it.
Okay, so I'm going to add these because I wound up.
Sorry, guys, I'll behave.
Okay, name the movie.
On Golden Pond.
I don't. Yeah. No, I had to think about it.
I have an idea, but I don't have one right.
What's that?
I have no clue.
I'm
You're right,
thinking.
Susan. He got no credit for loving you.
I'm thinking Kids and Cousins.
Lily says Wild in the Country.
Oh, that's
That
also
one's
possible.
that's not it. Okay. I'm going to pop up. I'm going to pop up the answer. I didn't put them in there. Here it is. Easy come and easy go. Fun and Acapulco. Those are good guesses, though. Flaming Star. That's
No, that would not be a flaming star.
Okay, but I haven't seen Easy Come Easy Go yet. So strangely enough.
I don't think
Okay.
I have either, to be honest with you.
I got one more silhouette here for you guys.
Oh, I know which one that is.
Yeah, this one I think I know.
That's an easy one. Can I say the
Yeah.
initials or the
I
first
think-
letter of the first?
Door was too modern for flaming. Oh yeah, Susan, great movie, loving you. I guess. Any guesses?
Oh, this is easy actually.
Was okay, but not the best. Yeah, it was kind of a. I think that was. Yeah, it's not one of my favorites to watch. I'll watch it though.
What
If it's
you
on TV, I'm
need?
watching it.
What you need?
Satnin got it.
What you need is.
Oh,
Yep.
And here is
Rich, where were you when I was at school? You could have helped me out in tests, buddy.
I was trying to give you a hint. That's why I was singing.
Yeah, that's why I got the answer. Because when you started singing, the lyric came back to me. That's why I said, "Where were you when I was in school?"
All right, so
Nope.
here, this is the concert corner that Cam and I are going to do. The time's going to be a little bit different there. I'm going to post it with it. I'm going to post the thumbnail on the web page, but I'm also going to put it. Let everybody know via Facebook and all that. So, but it's going to be 9 p.m. On Wednesdays. One of the shows will. That'll be a permanent one. That's one of the shows. Then we're going to probably maybe swap the time, do it at 9 a.m. and 3. That'll be 3 in the afternoon for Cam. So, but we won't do it back-to-back days because we record inside the studio. By the time we come for the premiere, we'll have to be doing it from Cam's bed when he's got a feeding tube in his mouth. That was a lot to go just to get to that one punchline. Kind of stupid.
Hey,
right.
but that's okay. I guess that's it's all in the name of fun. So it's no effort,
Yeah.
no price for me. You know.
Right. So everybody, just to let you know an update on we've always kept this QR code, and Cam has received some more donations this week, and both I know I speak for Cam, and I'll let him say something here, but it's nice to know we're just like $50 shy of reaching the halfway point of what we put there. So I'm excited about that, and it's everybody's help with that. So. Thank you to all. Cam, what you got to say?
Yeah, I can only agree with you on that one. Times a million, guys. This money is coming out of places that I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought or even envisioned would be happening. And like I said to you guys before, the next lot of money that's coming in is going into getting me a new bed. So that's going to take me a while because that's about the same price as a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So that money is going to be there for a while. But that's my next massive goal. But from the bottom of my massive heart, it's not deep enough to express real honest, heartfelt gratitude. Really.
Cam and I have conversations all the time about all that. And he definitely takes all this very emotionally and personally, and that's a good, that's definitely a good thing. And he's always grateful every time. He gets excited about it. I get excited about it, and
Yeah.
I was going to surprise telling him today, and then he decided he was going to tell me. But that's cool, thanks to everybody, with that.
Yeah.
Real quick, the two scenes, I'm afraid to try it. So let me see how last week we made it through. So I'm just going to play real quick little clips so you remind everybody of it was there, and that's there. Where's this?
Hold up 1 second. Let me just get to Lori's question. No, Lori, I don't have any heaters of any kind, but I'm needing to get new bedding as well. I don't want to specifically use heaters because they're going to be very heavy on electricity, and I'm on prepaid electricity. So in terms of that stuff, I need to start looking at getting more blankets, more duvets, those kind of things, which are also in the pipeline currently. Was speaking to Rich actually about it before we went live, but the stuff is so damned expensive here. It's like it's six of one and half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Which one do you choose, and how do you choose, and how urgently do you need it? That's basically the decision making process that I have to go through at this point. So I've got enough now to keep me going for a while. In terms of clothes, I'm gonna have to get some warm clothes, but my major thing now is a double bed, because on a single bed I've woken up a couple of times on the floor, I roll straight off, and I literally wake up with a bang. So
So yeah, so I wanted to make sure we, every week I like to, when something like this happens, I just want to make note of everything, you know, that's happening with the GoFundMe, because you guys have all been a part of it, and it's great. So now the polls. I'm going to play just a really small clip of this film, but you guys should remember, if you've been part of it all. It's just this little clip from Charles. This is one of the ones you vote on.
Tell me the truth, Jess.
It's got to do with Vince. It's got a...
That's that scene. And that was voted on. That one won last week. The week before was when that was, in the system. Now this is the other one. This one won big time handedly last week. So I'm just gonna play a small clip because everybody, hopefully everybody's, familiar with this scene. Yeah, so that's the other scene. I do want to mention that if anybody wants to watch any of Elvis's movies, I can't download them and give them to you, but I do have a link where I can send you to watch the movie online, and because I don't want to get in trouble for giving stuff to people and all that. Whatever you guys do from that point forward, it's up to you. But just let me know. Email me. I've had a few that I've sent links to watch the movies that they've never seen before. So I got them all the Elvis movies. So just let me know. Okay, so here's the poll. Option number 1 is Charles. Option 2 is, we're still alive, Love Me Tender. So, pound 1 for Charles, pound 2 for Love Me Tender.
That would be a pound 2 for me.
Mm-hmm. And a side of beef.
And a half a pound of bologna.
Are we getting votes in? Anybody voting? Vote.
Yeah, I would have to. I would have to say a 2 from me as well.
Mm-hmm. Use the Jedi mind trick on them. You want to pick number 2.
Yeah. So
you want to pick
Susan, that was a great scene. With when you can see it when they play it, and when Elvis was infatuated with Deborah Paget. From the stories I've read.
I would have been
I think
too.
we got a winner. So the best drama scene of all the ones we put up is the scene when he's dying. Just joking. Is number 1. Yeah. It's a great one.
Yes, I actually read a story a couple of years ago. They were saying that when he went to the theater to watch the movie with his parents, his mother became so emotional that she actually walked out.
Yeah, they tried to change that ending. They were going to.
Well, Elvis wouldn't go watch Loving You anymore for years. I don't know if he ever did, because his mom and dad his mom was in the movie.
Yeah, I also heard he never watched it again.
And I think he had a hard time watching Jailhouse Rock because of Judy Tyler passing away right after it was done. That's got to be hard. Well, you build a relationship like that, and all of a sudden, a day later, after it's being, it's not even being released. It's the day after they finished, filming, and
it just blows my mind for his, much like his singing, for his first movie. very first. I mean,
Yeah.
It
to
was
do
natural.
scenes like that with no training. I mean,
Yeah.
In the book today, when a couple chapters we'll probably get through, 'cause our discussions go away. That's another thing. Cam and I are going to add some more book slots, and it won't be the same book, but there'll be different books because I want everybody to be, involved at a certain time. So, but anyway, in the book today, it talks about Hal Wallace and and what he thought of Elvis and all that. So it's pretty interesting. But anyway. So I got one more thing here I want to share with everybody, kind of a news, my typical, I love these stage shots like this.
That's an awesome shot.
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Whoa.
And I gotta get all the way to the
Wow.
beginning here.
And you know, the irony is that kind of shot, it wouldn't have had the same impact if it was color.
Right.
That's
No,
true.
You're right.
Some shots are just made for black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So Susan sent this to me. I think it was Susan. Let me know. I get so confused after reading my emails. Sent this to me, as I think some of us may have heard about it. This is how I heard about it. She sent me the thing about Westgate. They're celebrating the anniversary of him opening up on July 31st, 1969, and they're doing a special deal. They've got an impersonator that's going to be there. Let's see. Can I get the next one? The Elvis impersonator will star in the 1969 live concert, The King Returns. The International Theater is the same room, but like I mentioned the other day, it's not the same interior. It's totally different.
No.
But, just the fact that you can stand. I mentioned yesterday on Rich's live, and I have a friend, goes all the way back to not long after I got out of high school. We kind of worked together out at the beach and stuff like that, and over a period of time, he got, and this is Los Angeles, and I was born in Nevada. I'm a Nevada boy, as far as birth, and but over the years, he had a construction company. Well, his construction company, which was union, was it, which I have no problem with. I just sometimes when I read about unions that way back then, it just seems like you don't hear the controversy like you do today about them. But anyway, he worked on the site, and he was able to get one of the booths, and he made a man cave in his house with it. And then he also got one of the front stage lights you see right there in front of the guys there. I don't know. If
Yeah.
one
One of the floor lights?
Yeah, one of the floor lights. He got one of those too, and and he got some other stuff too. He took off the wall, and he's got some fabric or certain stuff and a piece of carpet. But I tell you what, if I had a man cave with a booth from the International Hotel in 1969, I would never leave that room.
No. Just as a point of reference, they probably have, but I've never noticed it. I'm assuming they painted over the angels on the wall, right?
I think the angels are gone.
Or the dolls on the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all changed.
Yeah,
I mean, they
would
just totally
imagine so.
renovated. They got rid of it's just a wholly different. It's a different type of room. It's more like an amphitheater now than it is a dining room restaurant.
Yeah.
From the pictures I saw, Aaron Ray. Okay, you got a question. If you're stranded
On an island, all by your lonesome, and you had to choose.
It's funny because
only
Cam
one
and I were
EP.
talking earlier.
Oh,
Cam and I had the same discussion earlier. It's funny. That's why I'm laughing. If you're stranded on an island all by your lonesome and you had to choose only the one EP album from the 70s, which do you take? He says Promised Land.
Okay, but here's my answer, Aaron. You gotta be fair. That's like asking you got 6 kids. Which one of your kids you gonna take with you on holiday? Come on, man. You had to be fair.
We're just
my
God.
God.
It's a good question. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I can give you the answer. I can give you
Yeah,
my answer
yeah,
right now.
I think I know what your answer is.
You kind of, because for me, it would kind of be depending on my mood. If I was on the island,
Yeah.
stranded, I'd be sad that I was stranded and alone. So for me, it would be from Elvis Presley Boulevard.
Yeah,
If
well,
I was-
I would take The 69 live concert, International Hotel.
It's
The regional-
70. She
Oh.
said 70s, I think. Which 70s album?
Oh, which 70s?
that what
Okay,
you said?
I would take the on stage album then.
Oh,
I love that live album.
Do you say 70s album?
Yeah,
I think that's what she said, right? Did she say 70s album?
yeah. That's the question. And the
If
choose
you-
on
which-
EP album.
Yeah,
Oh,
which 70s?
hell. That just blew my choice out of the water then. Because I would have said from Elvis in Memphis.
Yeah, you know, I would I would probably have to take change my onstage one because I don't know why I said that because it was so close to the international time, but it would be this March 20th concert at Memphis. That's the one. It has to be a live show for me because that to me that's more of a you know, it's more of an emotional build up. Plus they got stuff songs in there that you kick up back and just kind of tear up, you know. Then it's, you know, listen to. But the key thing is does that island have a turntable or a CD player or stereo?
Okay, but
Well, if you're stranded on an island with your record player.
but
And probably that's the way it is. Or Elvis is
Yeah.
back. Well, Elvis is back is 1960, so that's too early. Aloha from Hawaii, there's a good one. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Cam's
yeah.
got the point.
Yeah.
You know, my choice today would be different tomorrow.
yeah.
The first time was on a small diner boat trip with a very touchy-feely tribute artist and was such a laugh. I have missed part of a conversation, obviously, but I'll leave that to them. So anyway, what they've done is that if you want to go, the ticket prices are the same as what you paid when you saw them in 1969. And back then they were $17.50, which is about $150 today. And it came with your choice of steak or lobster. And that's all the
please.
dinner show. And the midnight shows were usually drinks. You got 3 drinks or something like that, plus the
Steak
seat, you know.
medium well, please. And
Yeah.
don't be stingy on the A1.
Well, I know in 72 when I saw him, I paid $25 for the seat, so it had obviously gone up. But still, you know,
Just a little bit.
$25 for a steak dinner, and if I was a drinker, I would have been able to get 3 drinks, but I got 3 Coca-Colas, and then, you know, it was $17.50. I mean, you can't beat that. I think Susan said that it's fairly inexpensive, and she's close. But it'd be kind of cool to go see it. You know, I would still like to stand in the room, the same, you know, same room.
Even back then, I'd have paid freaking $50 to see Elvis that close. My God.
Oh yeah. It's just so. It's you know, when you see the ticket stubs from back then, you think $12, $10. Holy
It's
shit,
ridiculous.
you know.
That's
But
oh
you know,
my
but
God.
like they said here today, that would be around $100 a ticket.
Mhm.
So, you know. All right, so what do I got next? Okay, so I brought this up on the live feed that Cam and I did last week, and I found this picture, all right? And we had the discussion, is it real or is it fake? And I think we kind of, correct me, Cam, but I think we came to the conclusion that it's real,
Yeah, you're right.
not photoshopped or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not.
There's the original, Mr.
Oh,
Marlon
who's that?
Brando. That's
Oh,
Marlon
Brando.
Brando.
Oh, shit. Look at that.
So the guy that did it actually did a pretty freaking good job photoshopping.
Good Lord.
You can't. I mean, even if I can't zoom it in because I got it unlocked. But you know, that's an incredible.
Wow. That fooled me. Holy crap.
Yeah. What do we got? That's funny. Dylan laughing out. Everybody's got a different conversation going. Wait till we get to the book. All right.
Yeah.
So this real quick. I found this and I never really knew much about it, but this was. Let me see if I read it. Elvis at the Methodist Hospital in Memphis with his uncle Travis Smith, as to left him with Travis's son, Elvis's cousin Bobby Smith. He's in the hospital after being hit by a car, broke a couple legs and I guess some ribs or something like that. So I you know, I never really knew
Gee, that handwriting looks familiar.
that handwriting. Which one?
That's the exact. Which post? Where'd you get?
Where'd I get this?
Where did you
This was on
find that?
Facebook. That was on Facebook.
You know where you found it?
I found this. Yeah, it was from yours.
Okay, no, I'm just curious because I don't. I'm just curious if somebody like else took what I wrote.
No, no. Yeah, you know, I would always ask you before, and you said no, anytime you want. So I did.
Well, no, no, I'm not. I don't have
No,
anything
I know
against
you're
that.
not. I had to
I'm
stop
just
for you.
curious. I'm
I had to
curious if
stop.
somebody else took it off my page. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
you know, I had to stop and think which picture it was I did get from you, and I just realized, well, it's got to be yours because we're having a cool conversation about it.
Yeah.
All right, so Lesley sent me this picture. It's an overshot view of. Let me just do this. It's an overshot of blue of Graceland back in the way before Elvis got it, or maybe it was after because the lions are out front. I think that's the lions. But anyways, this is another shot more daily. What it's like. They've done a lot of freaking work to that place.
No, that top picture is from 1948.
Or then maybe they're not lions. Maybe there's something else there. But anyway, it's you know it's kind of cool to see shots. Even though this is facing front and that's facing the back, you can still see the layout of the driveway and all that.
Yeah.
All the trees. This must have been taken during fall or winter because there's nothing on the trees. So, okay. So also too, for those of you who are going to Memphis, Sally has announced a little brunch that she's having. A limited amount of tickets. She's doing it on the 16th, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So anybody interested? I think they are not very expensive. I didn't catch that part, did I? Like a dumbass. I think it's like $35 or $45. But nice, that'd be cool to have a nice little, lunch with her. Very, very intimate and personal,
Yeah, that would be cool.
So that's there. Another stage shot. I think this is a cool stage shot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, up from the top. But what's cool about it is look at the shadows on the ground.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
You can actually see everyone with the exception of the girls.
Yeah, you got a couple of girls there. You got the one on the right. Either that or
Yeah, you can see the inspiration's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a cool shot. It's just really, I love it. All focused on Elvis, and you see the no lights on them or the back shot. It's just like almost like a silhouette,
Yeah, very.
So now I downloaded this picture. I always thought that this shooting, what they did is found, whoever they had to hire did it, is some of the best pictures of all three of them together. But I'm sitting here looking at this thing, and look at the expression on their faces at each other. What's your thought? I mean, Priscilla's is kind of like, what? What do you, I don't know.
Yeah, Priscilla looks like she's seen a ghost.
Yeah, she has that "what do you mean" type of look on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she's just accused him of something, and he's trying to explain, and she's got that look, or vice versa,
Anyway.
And Lisa's like got her paparazzi face on, like.
Yeah, exactly. Now this picture I've never seen before. It looks real.
The top one I've seen before.
And the bottom one, obviously, at the same time. I think I think they're real.
What year is that supposed to be from?
Well, I would say it's the late '60s. Before
67.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
65, 66, 67.
Yeah, his heart was.
That's what it looks about. Yeah.
I just put this here because this is one of my favorite pictures of him. That outfit is just fucking smoking, man.
74.
Yeah, I love that picture. 72, I think.
And there's another great stage shot.
That was in Chicago, right? That picture.
This is Toronto.
No, the other
Ottawa.
one before it.
Wait a minute, which one?
The one before it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this picture I think is fake, and I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, you tell me why. Anybody got an idea why I think it's fake? Look at her hair. What color is it?
No, that could be the light,
on black hair.
Look how the light's hitting her face on the side.
Yeah, but then look at Elvis. Look at his sideburns. There are no sideburns.
Well, that was from when that was I think that was at the M&M building on the day of his induction.
Yeah, I just don't remember him combing his hair like that until in the '60s. But
I actually have seen that they're all at the M&M building. Anita Wood's there, Gladys Vernon, and they're all sitting. You know, Lamar's Fike is there too. This is at the M&M building. I'm pretty sure this is real.
Yeah,
actually,
I'll take a look at him, see if he's wearing the same thing. I just think that it doesn't look like her because it's just because she's got such light hair all over.
Right.
But anyway,
now, I agree with that, but I'm pretty sure that was on his induction day.
Yeah.
At the M&M building.
All right, so I look at that and I'm like,
oh my God.
Oh, you just about gave me a heart attack there.
All right, guys. So I think we have covered pretty much the big stuff. I just want to remind everybody about the event that Lesley's having. Here's a quick nice little video she had created for it. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So the event's on the 18th and 19th of October in the UK. Tickets are £45 each. I don't know what it probably works out to about $60 or something like that, US dollars. Some great stuff going to be there. Shelley Powers, who wrote the book Elvis Remembered, going to have a film club, a band. You're going to have Elvis stuff for sale. There's going to be some memorabilia that's going to display that actually was part of him. So I just like to remind everybody about that. You're going to see some more stuff coming out real soon regarding it all. And then, I think that pretty much covers that. So, you guys got anything before we get into the big thing?
Shelley Powers, that's no relation to Austin, right?
I don't really think so.
I think she's related to Mini-Me.
Let's see what we got. Let me catch up some comments before we start the book.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, look how far behind I am. Lily, I would have loved to play guitar for Elvis. Me too.
Austin Danger Powers.
Kyle put a question up on his Facebook about if you could have the opportunity to spend 5 minutes with Elvis, what would you do? What would you, or if you had the chance to ask him a question, what would be your question? And my response was I would ask him if I could play the guitar and him sing a song while I'm playing. I just think that would be so cool. But anyway, that's what
I would just ask if I could be his friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Good questions.
Yeah, that's actually, geez, that trumps my question straight out. Now my question sounds like a washout question, but I would have said something to the effect of, "Can we go for a ride in the States?"
Yeah, that would be cool. All right, guys. So are we at the right spot here? Layers. All right. So we're on the last train to Memphis. Chapter 10. What's that?
All aboard!
All aboard. So stage show. This is the period from the stage show until February 56 when he goes in the studio and of course he does the stage show. And just some highlight things that I brought out, but I hope everybody here can shrink this down so that you guys can see. Okay, I need to do that. And I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'll ever be able to read it, but so if you feel like calling in, talking about it, do it. If you want to just chat, do it. It's fine, I just want everybody, to take part and, give us your thoughts. If you haven't read the book, that's fine. You're going to hear some comments from everybody. So we've had some really good discussions. So, can I be one? Everybody's got their own conversation. Goes. I would like to thank him for GIS giving us the gift of his talent. Well, that's just like, the question, where, if you go back in time and any one moment to witness.
Yeah, there's too many.
That you can't.
Mm-hmm.
I literally picked Rustwood Park, but I would have to, right behind that would be flip flop between that and July 31st,
I'm with you. I'm with you on Rustwood Park. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's so many. It would be like, can we go for a ride in the car? Can we go riding on the bikes? Can we go for a stroll in the meditation garden, just talk? Can we sit in the piano room while you play something gospel on the
That
piano?
would be damn cool. Can you imagine him? Can you just imagine like Graceland being totally quiet and him just sitting there playing piano? Just imagine that.
And he's coming out with gospel or Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain or Unchained Melody or other shitload of songs, love letters, all that good stuff.
So you ever hear Jerry Schilling's story? That one time where he came up from his room from the basement.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Was,
Yeah.
yeah. I pictured that. That has to be that to be an incredible moment. Just to.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he said it was like time stood still.
Yeah. All right, guys. So stage show. I'm gonna just highlight. I got some parts highlighted, and I'm gonna share them with you. But I want the conversations to go from there, or anywhere you guys want. I think I just want to do a little motivator and try to get a discussion going on this. Hopefully, this is everybody's enjoying this. If you don't, let me know down below. We are going to do more book reviews. Are we taking too long to get through the book? Do we need to speed it up? I enjoy the conversation. I'll go as long as everybody wants. So just let us know, please. And so anyway, this is a few things right at the beginning of the chapter. No matter what people say about you, son, you know who you are, and that's all that matters. And we know that's Gladys to her son. And Harold Lloyd was the one that relayed that, him saying that. I would like to get his book. I don't know if I can find it anywhere. The last admonishment I had to Elvis was, look, you know how to do it now. You go over there and don't let anybody tell you. They believe enough in you that they've laid some cold cash down. So you let them know what you feel and what you want to do. Sam Phillips, advice to Elvis, late fall 1955. My thoughts here, and I'll let everybody else talk, you guys talk, is this had to be, at that moment in time, had to be, I'm sure there was excitement and all that, but I think there was probably a lot of trepidation, anxiousness of where is this going to take me? Is it going to take me? He wasn't quite at that point yet, he was more regional,
No. And that just opens the page in terms of giving a person insight into the type of person that Sam was, because Sam must have picked that up. He must have felt the energy. And that's something that a father would say to his son when he's going into the military. And that's basically like Sam telling him, no, it's okay, son. I appreciate your loyalty, but our road has come to a crossroad, and I can't take you where you need to go. So it's okay. Wherever you choose to go, just know that I'll be there with you.
I picture, this is my, this is just my own thoughts, but I don't picture Vernon being one who gave a lot of advice. I think all the advice came from Gladys.
Yeah.
And I think that once Elvis started, getting famous and going where he was going, that I think he felt a little bit of inferior to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he became...
Sorry, go ahead.
He became like... All those years, Vernon's trying to not that he couldn't provide for his family, but it was always a struggle to do that. And
Right.
then all of a sudden, Elvis just like blows all of that out of the water and supports everybody. So if
Right.
you're in Vernon's shoes, you're like, it's like almost like exactly like an inferiority thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like intentionally, but you can't help feeling that way. Like those
Like the
years I've been trying to
the
like the
roles
roles reversed.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if he had had a father or a relative that, and I'm not gonna say that he doesn't trust Vernon. That's totally not what I think. But somebody
No.
that would, an authoritative person over the finances and saying flat out, he gave in to Elvis on everything, which is fine. It was Elvis's money.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was somebody that would have been a better, well, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm saying. I just feel like he wasn't. He was not a what is it? What is an accountant? CPA,
Yeah.
and I think in some ways that but then also too, Parker and we're supposed to be managing the business, a lot of the business part of it, and but see, nobody was really checking in on what was going on.
Well, the thing is, like
okay,
with Vernon, it was just that's who Elvis trusted the most with his money.
yeah, Brent,
That's why
that's
I
right.
think that
I'm sorry.
you know.
I get a delay from you, so when it stops, it's just like, yeah, a better financial steward, Brent. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. Elvis Nation, the vibe would be out of his world. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on. So I got, what else I got? So 2 days after, let's see what RC. So they're in the studios now. They're in Nashville, and getting ready to record the first album. And Floyd Kramer, this is his thoughts, and I kind of found it kind of interesting because I would not expected this from him. But Floyd Kramer, with a young wife to support, was wondering if he had made the right decision leaving Shreveport, and whether there would be a living for him in studio work. While Steve Schultz, sitting behind the control room glass with his lead sheets and his song list, and little insight into how the boy was going to react to the new studio and the new situation, couldn't help but feel that this was not a very auspicious beginning from any point of view to be working with such a ragtag group, especially under such trying circumstances. And I think there's a little bit more. To feel himself under the jealousy, scrutiny, not just of his own record company, but of entire industry, to be seeking to duplicate the slapback sound that was integral a part of singer's appeal, while his own engineers professed ignorance as to just how Sam Phillips had achieved it. And I don't think they ever found out.
No.
I think, pretty much engineers today can figure out how he did it, but the fact that he did it back, in non-computerized, using heavy-duty equipment, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I can kind of understand where they're coming from too. But if we modernize it a little bit, it's basically what every good musician goes through. And unfortunately, they are in the minority these days.
Right.
But Rick, you would know. I mean, if an artist walked into a studio and he said that he wants to do whatever, and you put him down on tape, and you think to yourself, okay, this guy's got potential, even though you know as a producer that this guy's got potential, and you wrangle people up with you, and those people climb in the wagon with you, it's still one hell of a chance that you're taking.
Right.
And especially with Elvis coming from where he came from and having the upbringing that he had, it just made that chance, it magnified that chance by a million.
Yeah.
So I would understand that there would be guys in the industry at that time looking at this southern guy coming out of
Mm-hmm.
Tupelo, Mississippi, and
Mm-hmm.
looking at him going, okay, you say you got the chop, son? Okay,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
you gotta put your money where your mouth is. So
Right.
I can understand that from that perspective. But in terms of coming to what Sam had, it's basically like that for me too. You know, people ask me the same question for years now. People have asked me, you know, what is it about Elvis that makes you such a devoted follower, devoted respectee?
Right.
Why do you have so much respect for the man? Surely not only because of his musical talent. And it's not. There's something deeper than that. But put your finger
Mm-hmm.
on it, you can't.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
you just it's like when you get home and your father says to you, "Are you sure you want to marry this person? Are you sure they're the right person?" You don't know at the time what exactly it is that gives you that certainty, but you know sure as hell that this is the right thing to do or this is the real deal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just.
And you just go with it.
Yep. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Susan, that's a good point. With she, kind of a good point. It brings up a few thoughts in my mind. She says that's why Parker was afraid of Streisand's influence later on and not wanting him to do that movie with her. Yeah, he didn't want her. He wanted control. He always wanted control of everything. And I'm sure that there were a lot of people out there that Parker was really a big blowhard, But
Oh
when
yeah.
you get down to it, he was
Mm-hmm.
afraid
He
to
had.
be adventuresome. He was afraid to what was it? What's the term? Think outside the box.
Box. Yeah.
Right.
And another shining example of that is Steve Bender.
Yeah. You got Chips Moman and Steve Bender. Those are two people that if he could have continued his
Oh.
relationship with them moving forward and be the prime people involved with his career, it's one of those what ifs, and you think about it. You just think of the what ifs, but then you go to sleep thinking, oh, that was depressing.
You know, here's the other side of the coin for me. If I'm talking too much, please shut me up. But here's the other side of the coin for me, and there's a big one for me to take because I'm kind of eating my cap with a statement that's coming in, and that is that I think
You got some great lines.
I think I think the Colonel played ignorant a lot of the time,
That's
but
that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, he
but
played that ignorance, but
But under the water, he knew exactly. Because had that not been the case, had he truly been ignorant, had he really been dumb in brackets with regard to the music industry, he wouldn't have had a problem with Steve Bender or Chips Moment. You would have said to Elvis,
Right.
okay, go.
yeah, I think the things that he played ignorance on the things that he knew everything about and could do. He would
Yes.
play ignorant, but then you reverse it too. He would try to be the blowhard and everything regarding things that he knew freaking shit about.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
played it both
Yeah.
ways. And look what happened. A lot of things that. I don't. These books that we're going to be doing here with all the most of the Parker stuff. There's going to be some stuff that comes out that just like really pisses you off about him. But is it true? So that's why I'm reading all the books so that I can compare. And some, if 2 or 3 books say the same thing, I don't know about you guys, but I would put a little credence behind it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
And then with Gronik's book coming out in August, I think that to me is just the Bible as far as
Yeah, I really want to
what?
get
I don't
into
want to say
that.
Bible because it's just I don't like doing that. But it's the encyclopedia, of Elvis's life.
That's why I say I'm kind of gonna have to eat my hat because and that's why I'm open now even more so to reading the books, to actually putting myself in that position to say, okay,
Yeah,
let's read the books, let's read what's been said. And like Rick says, if we get the same information from 3 books,
Yeah.
different authors, different perspectives, and they all say the same thing, then I'm going to be sitting with my mental Colonel Parker checklist, and this
It,
time
it yeah.
I'm gonna check things off the list based on 100% knowledge, not
right.
in this case 70% of my opinion with regard to the colonel is an emotional opinion.
Right.
Yeah, that's like
And
you get it. Like, oh,
and
go ahead.
I have to be fair to the guy.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah,
be fair to the
you
guy.
have to keep an open mind. That
Yeah.
some people have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, it irritates me when I see the clickbait type stuff about about him. They don't know anything about him,
No.
and that's
Yeah.
why, and I still get suckered into some of these things on Facebook and I got to search it. But then also too, I like to highlight them. I got a couple things I want to highlight today. I should have done earlier, but maybe I'll save it for next week. But the next two books I'm going to do, and these I'm going to do during the week, and I'm going to read the whole book before we do it. If anybody's interested, I don't want to say that. Just email me if there's books you're looking for, and I'll tell you how you can get them at a really good cost. But that one right there, really good book. I thought it was great, and I've mentioned before.
What was-
That's the book that Boz Luhrmann and Sony used. It's called Colonel Parker: The Curious Life of Elvis Presley's Eccentric Manager. James Dickerson has written several other books, and he's a good writer.
I want to read Scotty's books.
Then I've got this one I'm going to do next. So these two are very similar because they, in aspect that they give you a lot of history of him growing up and what they know, because they were in contact. His brother or one of his relatives came out and he met with them out in L.A. And a lot of people don't, that's not really brought up out there. They like the, even though he lied and everybody thought he was a citizen, but for some reason he just didn't hide it. He did. I think he almost didn't care if somebody did find out. Well, whatever.
I think at some level too, and I've heard these stories, and that's what I'm hoping the book's gonna bring out too. A lot of the guys said that they had a lot of respect for the colonel because he did have a soft side and he did have a caring side. And,
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of them said that history has just proven to villainize the colonel. They only see the bad side of him.
Well, the thing of it is, like, he had to be hard in matters of taking care of Elvis's career.
Yes.
He had to be hard, But we didn't know. Did anybody know Tom Parker personally? Anybody in this room or anybody outside this room? Did anybody know Tom Parker personally, or how he treated people around him? He was rough in the sense that he had to be with Elvis's career. That's the part we know. That's the part that people look at. That's the part that they portray him to be.
When you read these books that go into his childhood and his growing up and the stuff that they do know, you can see the development of that persona that he became.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see it in his growing up, and once again, I hope nobody gets offended by my description, but I'm calling this whole deal with getting to Elvis, defending Elvis, and doing stuff like this is we're getting into the DNA of Elvis's career.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. And this is me reflecting it back on myself. It just dawned on me now that when you said it, Rick, is that those methods and those behaviors and those habits that the colonel learned was originally from a point of survival.
Right.
But when
That's
a person,
true. That's a good point. That's a good point, Cam.
When a person lives a certain way and makes decisions for a certain period of time from a survival perspective, they eventually become second nature to you, because that's just what I speak, Rick, we've spoken about this in my life personally, that there have been certain decisions that I've had to make within the last year that have purely come from a life survival perspective. And whether it's wrong or not morally to other people, I don't care, because if that's what I need to do in order for Cam to survive, for Cam to be okay with Cam, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. So my point is exactly that. Maybe those behaviors and those thought patterns were formed at a very early age, and they just became so part of who he was as a person that intentionally it was not
Yeah.
his intention deep down to be hard on people, but that's who
Yeah.
he became because that's what he
That's a
needed to
good
do
point.
for himself to
Yeah.
survive.
He was used to always having to have his guard up, always.
Yeah. Yes.
So, you know.
All right. Tracy
That's a great
mentioned-
point, Cam.
Yeah, it is. I mean, him and I were talking very similar to that. We talk a lot about stuff like that. So Tracy, just email me. So let me let you all know. I do have a lot of these resources, PDF and all that, but I can give you access, but you're gonna have to access it via that, and you won't be able to download it because I don't want to get into the situation of me giving away stuff like that. You know, I'm just gonna post it up so you know if you want to read it or watch a movie or whatever. That option's open, but it's going to be contained to the fact that nobody's going to be able to download it. And if you don't feel good about it, then don't do it. All I know is I'm not generating money for me by doing this at all.
I kind of see where you're going and where you're coming from, Barb, with your statement, but it takes me back to the situation when Elvis was with Son and going to RCA. I think in that situation, it was Parker stuck with the formula that he knew was working.
Yeah.
To go out on a limb and say to Elvis, okay, try this movie, and we hope to hell that that you don't flop. At that point in time, he was so big and so set in his career that had they made that decision and Elvis had flopped, the loss would have been greater than having had kept him in the steady flow of movies and music that he was doing at the time. It's always easy because I always say with hindsight we always have 20/20 vision.
Yeah.
It's always easy for us to look at it now, 47 years later, taking into account what Elvis became and who he still is and who he still is going to become.
Right.
It's very easy for us now to say, yeah, he should have been given that chance because we know now, looking back, that he would have been successful.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, nobody had the insight to be able to look down 46 years down the road and say
His whole career was a demo.
it was on the knife's edge all the time.
At the end of the day, for Parker, it was about getting Elvis the best payday he possibly could.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what. At the end of the day, that's what it was all about.
All right, we need to jump back into the book here. We're getting away from it, but those are some good topics, man. I mean, I agree with you, Cam, on all that.
Hello. 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 Hello.
What did I do? How did I wind up there? What were we doing? We were in. Is that where we're at? Nope. Well, where were the? Bump that off. Guys, it was a long night. So anyway, so we're back on the last train. Let me enlarge that so I can see it. All right, so Elvis, meanwhile, this is all during the time just before stage show and doing, starting in the studio. He's in the studio. But in the time, he's also doing some touring. This is a little bit down the road. But Elvis, meanwhile, remained unfazed by anyone else's doubts. Back in Memphis, he appeared on a Father's Night show at Hume's, just as he had appeared the previous month in a Christmas show produced by Miss Scribner. This is all during the time when he toured. Some of this stuff I don't remember. I've read the book, but I'm just like, it's more registering with me now. He did it to raise money to help out needy students. He bought a brand new 1956 Plymouth station wagon for his parents too, and he stopped by the the 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿. I have no idea what 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿 is.
𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿.
To fill in Dewey's.
That's the Hotel 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿. That's where ℎBQ was.
Oh, okay.
Well, they didn't.
Oh, that's
𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿?
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Audience on what he'd been up to lately, talking with Dewey off air as the records played, and Dewey got more and more excited about the world he was entering and the future that stretched out before him. So now Sam and Dewey, they know that they had a very major integral part of Elvis. The not the person, the star, the rock star, the king, all that. And, that's got to be a good feeling to know, hey, it all began with us. Sam recorded it, Dewey played it, and it was, from that point forward, it was just like rock and roll,
I mean, sorry, I'm going to jump in here before the thought leaves my mind. Kudos to Elvis for sticking up for himself, for sticking to his guns, because I know I'm going through that currently, like with the ideas that we have with our music collaboration and stuff like that. And Rick, that's something that Rich, too. You play instruments too. That's always something that sticks in your back of your mind is, music is such a personal thing. You bear so much of your soul by being a musician that when you write a song or when you play a gig or when you have an opportunity to work with somebody or to perform somewhere, in your heart of hearts you're good and you're going to kick ass. But there's always this little voice in the back of your head that goes, are you good enough? Are you going to fall flat on your face?
Is rock and roll going to last? That was the biggest question back then.
Are they going to like me? And once you have that dichotomy going on in your mind, it's a very, very, very high wall to climb if you're in a position to say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway. And if you can do that, kudos to you.
Right.
And Elvis did that. Elvis did that. It's funny because, like, for some reason, I'm thinking of him saying how he was nervous before every show. Now, he still had those kind of thoughts. Like, you think about it, like every show.
Yeah.
Every show.
Yeah.
So the night of the show that night wrote Chick Crumpacker. Oh my God! Can you imagine going through life with the name Crumpacker? Even worse, being locked up in a cell. Hey, Crumpacker, come here. I'm going to pack your.
Was it Crumb? Is it Crumpacker or Crumb?
It says Crumpacker, or
A and E. Is that an A or an E?
That's an A. Crumpacker.
Okay.
It's better than that than a pecker. Yeah. What?
I guess it could have been worse. It could have been Hard Knocker.
All right. I hope he's dead. That's a stupid thing to say. I hope
Well,
he
what?
doesn't hear this. I was talking about Chick Crumpacker. I was going to say, never mind. I'm going to put
Chick Crumpacker.
He was not marked by any foreshadowing or harborings of great success. It was broadcast from CBS Studio 50 between 53rd and 54th, and a few had braved the storm. The theater was sparsely filled with shivering servicemen and Saturday nighters, mostly eager for their refuge from the weather. Outside, groups of teenagers rushed past the marquee to a roller skating rink nearby. And just before showtime, a weary promoter, Crumpacker himself, returned to the box office with dozens of tickets, unable to even give them away on the streets of Times Square. That's the night before he was on TV for the first time.
You know what, Rick?
What?
I'll take one for the team here. I'll make you feel better so that you don't feel bad for what you're saying. If he is dead, he's no longer Crumpacker. He's Dirt Packer.
No. Oh, boy.
I'm your huckleberry.
There you go. Boy. You can't say I won't go to war with you, man.
Yeah, no, you will.
He's Dirt Napper.
All right, so that's that night, and then let's see what else are highlighted here.
Oh my goodness!
So the reaction of the audience is come up with his name. Crumpacker recalled it was something between shock and interest. This is the first night in Vegas. I think the shock and interest, a kind of amusement. People tended to laugh as much as applaud at key moments. His hands never stop moving. It looks as if he might be chewing gum. There's a twitchiness in his whole aspect, and yet there is a boundless confidence too. And his mascaraed visage appears to scan the audience as he seeks connection. In the middle of the song, he segues into Flip, Flop, and Fly, another Big Joe Turner number, and you're not sure if he's planned or unplanned it, but there is a feeling of something fierce. Every time I see that first performance and see him and going into Flip, Flop, and Fly the way he did, all that does is just, I'm sure that day after that show, he had to walk off the stage and go, now that was freaking awesome. Even though, you know, and that would be on a stage show, but then, you know, wow. You know, and the stage show was only created as an introduction to Jackie Gleason's show. And there was a fight between Arthur Godfrey's show and this one. And, of course, Gleason won out. And what a performance. Shake, Rattle, and Roll, Flip, Flop, and Fly. And, man.
I guess he was doing, because at that point in time, the only thing he had to guide him, the only thing he had to help him feel safe was his talent.
Yeah.
And he went to a place where he felt confident enough to try something. And I mean, we all know this. He talks about it in the '69 shows when he tells the audience.
Bye, Tracy. We'll catch you later. She's gone.
He said it in so many words. He said, "Man, I bombed." He said that first time in Vegas in 56. He said, "Man, I bombed."
Yeah, he just did his 2 weeks of show. But you know what?
I think Scotty, was it Scotty that said it? That he doesn't think at that time that Vegas was ready for him.
Well, no, it was a business. It wasn't teenagers. It was, businessmen.
Yeah, it was a whole different audience. So it's not so much that he sucked. It was just, at that point,
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah, because the people that were going to Vegas in that time were people like Liberace and
it was the older parents. It was the older parents that were against their kids listening to Elvis. So,
yeah. And when you listen to some of the audio of the shows, you don't hear the people. You know, they said that was the only time they've ever done a show where they could hear them when they're out of tune.
Jeez,
that's how quiet it was. Amazing, huh?
So that room must have scared them all shitless.
Oh
yeah. You're like, hello? Is this thing on? Hello?
Yeah, really. A few days before the fourth Dorsey appearance in Wilson, North Carolina, the promoter oversold the show, and the colonel told the troops that they would have to work a second one at no additional pay that night.
Shit.
This is to Scotty and them, you know. Exasperated by Colonel Parker's increasingly peremptory manner, they were beginning to feel as if they were being treated not just as entertainers, a necessary nuisance in the colonel's book, but as second-class citizens, little more than stage props on this tour. And you know, that's sad because you know, I honestly, once Elvis went back to Vegas '69, there's no way he could have had Scotty and DJ doing it with him, because it wasn't. They weren't. To me,
it's a different sound.
It's a wholly different sound. But to be treated, I read somewhere where how much money Scotty made in the '60s through the studio and stuff like that. It was like, how did this guy even freaking live? You know?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, he owned that one. Didn't he buy a studio of his own? Scotty, he went in like partners with somebody.
Or he bought it, but yeah, he had a studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went on. He did, I guess he did some teaching and stuff like that or whatever. And, when you're a guitarist your entire, pretty much your, adult life, and then all of a sudden, it's almost a feeling like nobody wants me anymore, even though I was part of I'm part of the DNA of, the beginning. You know,
Did they did they ever have did they ever have contact again with each other, the four of them,
Well, yeah,
after
Scotty. You mean
after
in the
'68?
'60s? After '68, I don't think so.
The only person that I think Elvis lost was Bill Black, because I mean,
Yeah, he
Yeah,
I
I
died in
think
know.
it's
Bill.
'60.
I know Bill died in 58.
And Bill Black was just fed up. He was fed up with the Colonel, and I don't think he even. I think there was a time then he not do some of the shows in the '60s. He did
Yeah.
do the Hawaii benefit concert. I know that.
Yes.
yeah.
But
They were just
I,
done wrong.
I don't know. Does anyone out there know if Elvis and Scotty had contact after the '68 special?
Yeah, I'd like to know. You know what?
You know,
Well, they were the thing.
I'll
The
read
thing,
his book.
I think they did. I think they did only because Scotty said himself that Elvis wanted to do a world tour, and he confronted Scotty and DJ about it. So after that, there must have been some kind of contact to let them know what was going on with everything with
I
that.
need to
You know,
reread
so
his book. I need to reread.
so
his
I
book.
think there was for a bit, but as far as into the '70s go, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sitting here wondering, did Scotty and DJ ever go to Vegas and see a couple of his Vegas shows in the '70s, or did
I
they?
Well,
mean, there could be those phone calls that none of us have ever heard about. Like, they could have
Yeah.
called each other randomly over the years. Like, hey, how's everything going? Good. How's your
They-
wife? Stuff like that we don't know about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they lived in the same city. So
Yes, I imagine they had some kind of contact here and there. Maybe not as much as back in the day, but I'm sure like every once in a while there'd be a phone call or two.
the band left that night, driving into a snowstorm, with stopping off in Dover, Delaware, to visit Carl Perkins in the hospital, where he was recuperating from a bad automobile accident in which his two brothers, who played the bass and rhythm guitar in his band, were also seriously injured. His song "Blue Suede Shoes" was competing furiously with "Heartbreak Hotel" in the charts, and he'd been on his way to play on the Perry Como show opposite the Dorsey Brothers show. When the accident occurred, Elvis, meanwhile, remained in New York that evening to complete an interview with Coronet magazine reporter Carl. So they were pretty much they were more like total employees of Elvis now. Instead of just a band. Elvis is the main guy, but we're all a band. They traveled together. They, in the car. It just.
So it makes me wonder now if, say, like Sam Phillips signed Elvis, Scotty, and Bill as one band to one contract, would Parker have still been able to kind of, do that thing where he kind of drove Scotty and Bill away? Would it have been the same thing? You see what I'm saying? If they were like,
Yeah, I think I'll read the book before next week, and we'll talk about
but
it.
then again, that was kind of. Well, then it was close to when it kind of built up in '55 over time, right?
Yeah. All right, so I think I got a few more notes from this. Let's see, we got Bob Neal watched bemusingly from the sidelines. Now he's out of the picture now. That he is completely and formally out of the picture. On March 15th, his own contract with Elvis had run out, and as per his November 21 agreement with the Colonel, he chose not to exercise the option. March 26th, the Colonel's new status as sole and exclusive advisor, personnel representative, and manager in any and all fields of public and private entertainment was formally ratified, with his 25% commission reaffirmed at the same time. And that kind of just solidifies even more my comment about how the majority of the time, especially in the 50s and the early 60s, he only made 25% of all entertainment stuff. But that just talks about the separation there. Now there's another piece of the old going away. Sam and Phillips, or Sam and Dewey, are going off into the sunset. You got Bob Neal going off in the sunset. Scotty and Bill are on their way out. They're selling up the horses and they're getting ready to leave.
You see, here we go. Here's Susan's opening another question, and it's a question I've had in my mind for years. Who was Joe actually working for? Because my opinion of Joe is, and I'm sorry, there are gonna be people out there that gonna say, yeah, he was a good guy and all the rest of it, but because his stories have changed so many times over the years and yada yada yada, my opinion of Joe Esposito was always Joe was the Colonel's gopher.
Oh yeah. Now,
And
but he worked for Elvis. But you know what? The more I read about him, I just think,
Joe played both sides of the
yeah,
fence.
I get, yeah, he supported the colonel, and I think he, depending on the situation he was in and who he was talking with, is what story he told.
Yeah, so Joe
You
was
know,
like,
and
yeah, he was like a thermometer. If he
yeah,
was stuck into a block of ice, his reading would be cold. If he was stuck into a kettle, he would be hot.
Yeah.
He had no backbone.
how's that? How's that, Olga? Let me know. I had the microphone away from me. Let me know
Yeah,
if that's
I think I agree with that. I think, what do you call that? Fair weather? That's what Joe
that's what I
was.
was going to say. You know, it's
Yeah.
like with a football. You know, fans when they're doing good, they're huge fans. When they're doing bad, they hate them. You
Yeah.
know, you know, I've never been that way. I went through some
No.
serious years with the Atlanta Falcons. Um, you know, they had some bad years.
So,
I mean, and the Braves, and but I don't like some of the stuff, but I'm still I'm there. I support them 100%. So the same thing is, like you say with with Joe, I just got more of a bad taste in my mouth as the stories come out
Time
about
went
the
on.
later years. And I
to be
wonder how
honest
much
with
was
you,
he involved. How much was he involved with what Lisa said about watching people take stuff away? Because he was the one that ran in there to the bathroom.
Yeah.
hmm
And I know Joe was there. I know weren't this. We know that. Of course, Ginger was there. We know that Charlie was there. Who else was there in the house at the time? Um,
Al Strada was
El
there.
Strada,
yep. You
The
know.
Bernie.
The Stanleys were there.
hmm
Yeah.
All the worms.
No, David was. I don't think that all of them were.
Yeah, well,
I know David was.
Is that sounding better, guys? Can you hear
yeah,
me
no,
better now?
yeah, that's
I have
better.
a tendency
I
to.
heard you fine the whole time.
Anyway, so let's got a little bit more of the book, and then we'll close up with a few things. Um, next page.
I got verbal diarrhea this week. Sorry, guys.
That's a that's a visualization
And I
of that
think I
right
just wanted
there.
to make one more point. I think uh, Elvis was kind of catching on to like what we're saying. Joe being so fair weather with everything, and how he kind of I think he kind of knew that he was going back to Parker and saying certain things. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
now according to the Smith family, Elvis was making changes, and Billy was going to be the foreman. So
Mm.
for sure that goes. When I'm thinking that, I know Elvis had to be thinking along those lines. That I just
Yeah.
don't trust him anymore.
Yeah, he was putting the plan together under the water, and when his plan came together, he was going to jump out like a crocodile, closing in
yeah.
on his prey.
So
Yeah.
I think Joe, some people that may not agree with this, but Elvis was getting rid of him.
Mm.
Yeah.
At the end, it was going to happen.
So the new album comes out. It's released on March 13th and stood at nearly 300,000 sales right then, which is freaking huge,
Yo,
making
Wow.
it a sure bet that it would be RCA's first million seller. Can you imagine that? All the albums they did, the music they did, and his first
yeah, they were
album.
big. They were big. RCA
Three,
were big.
yeah,
Mm,
it's $398
yeah.
retail for the album, and it contained blue suede shoes, which he had supposedly made a promise to Sam Phillips he wouldn't record, but it made it there. Um,
I tend to agree with you and say supposedly because we all know Elvis was
Mm.
loyal to a fault. Had he made that promise to Sam, he would never have done it.
yeah, Um, our CD released on the same date as the LP, in which was also simply entitled Elvis Presley, which was an iconic cover. Without any, they had no additional credits on the album or qualifications, all per the Colonel's instructions. No musicians, no recording supervisors were named. And it had already started up the charts itself. Steve Scholler, another Billboard headline trumpeted a few weeks later, was definitely having the last laugh, especially with everybody beating him up on it. That album has some great songs on it. So Wallace, I've heard things where people say that how Wallace didn't like Elvis. It may have been later with some of the films. I don't know, or I say didn't like him, but just didn't feel much about his acting ability. But in the beginning, Wallace was impressed. He later wrote with Presley's originality, but he was probably more impressed with the sales figures and the stir he was creating, not to mention the clear potential to tap into the new youth market, which was crying for a successor to the late Jimmy Dean. You know, so...
I don't know. I mean, a lot of pictures I've seen Elvis with Hal Wallace together, they're always like, there's a lot of pictures of them out there together, and they seem to actually be getting along really good. So I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong on that, but judging by body language and pictures, they just look like they really kind of liked each other. I think
they respected
Maybe I'm
each
wrong.
other very well, and I just think, I know there were a couple pompous directors that, didn't think the greatest of Elvis, but then how were they when the movie was over and they were putting money in their pocket from their percentages,
Yeah, who do you thank for that?
Susan says, Larry G. in his book said Elvis was ready to oust Parker and move on. Yeah, there's a couple other things. It'll be interesting to see if Parker has anything, Goronik has anything to say about this whole situation too. I'm sure he's got some really good. I mean, if he's got a lot of the memorabilia, the letters, and the pictures and all that, I'm sure he's got some information in there,
that alludes to that. Yeah, and I mean that's we all know. I mean, I take a lot of what Larry Geller says with a shitload of salt, because that guy, if you ask him enough questions and you offer to pay him enough money, he'll tell you that Elvis flew to the moon and back on on a broomstick.
Geller tells that story about Elvis and Colonel coming to him and say, no matter what happens, you need to get that guy up on the stage. But his details about the story seem to be different every time I hear it from him. I just don't.
And that's one of the first things a person looks at when they're one of the first ways to spot a lie, because every time you can ask, three people can ask the same person the same question in three different ways, and they will answer it differently. And the one major mistake they make is they forget their embellishments, because if you telling the truth, your story is going to be the same a million times over. The minute your story changes 100 times over, you're lying. And that's one of the things. That's one of the things that gave me an ass itch about Joe Esposito to begin with, because starting on August 16th, the lies just came and they kept coming and they kept coming until the day he died. So
you've given me some great visualizations today. With some of your phrases. Elvis was doing San Diego for the Burl Show.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Dumbass Rick.
Hello.
I know why I got my finger on the wrong button. That's not too good. Elvis was doing San Diego for the Burl Show. Milton Berle loved Elvis, man, which was scheduled to be broadcast on April 3rd from the deck of the USS Hancock docked at the San Diego.
Oh, God, yeah. They had a great relationship.
Yeah. The Milton Berle Show, and you could just see it in the skits and all the stuff when they were talking. You could just tell. He would hug Elvis.
The 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿.
He loved him.
Yeah, when they were on the 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿.
Yeah.
The 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐿.
Yeah. The Milton Berle Show was a definite step up from the Dorsey's. Milton Berle.
That's USS Hancock, Melvin.
He was still a major star and had booked Elvis only as a favor to his agent, Abe Lostfogel. Berle
My
met
goodness,
Elvis and the
these
Colonel
poor people.
for the first time at the airport. I sat in the middle, and Colonel Parker was on the other side, and Elvis was on my right side. So I said, "Oh, here's the contract for the show." And I was about to hand it to Elvis when Colonel Parker grabbed it, and he said, "Don't show that boy that contract." So Elvis didn't know what he was getting. Colonel Parker held a hard hand. Food for thought on that one. So, I think I got a couple more things from this chapter. It's just like his popularity go everywhere he went. People want to know him, his history, all that good stuff. And then there was one flight they had to take while they were doing a tour. I keep pulling away from the microphone. I'm sorry, guys. They chartered a plane out of Amarillo in the middle of the night so that they could get to Nashville in time for the recording session at 9 o'clock the following morning. Just before dawn, they got lost and landed at an airstrip outside of El Dorado, Arkansas to refuel. It was chilly, and the musicians huddled together in the little coffee shop, yawning and making desultory conversation. It was just light when they took off again. Scotty was sitting beside the pilot, who asked him to hold the wheel for a minute while he studied the map. Just as Scotty took the wheel, the engine coughed and died. Oh my God.
Holy, could you imagine?
The plane started to lose altitude. There was a good deal of confusion. No shit. And Bill pulled his coat over his head and cursed the day he had ever let himself be persuaded to go up in the rickety machine. Before the pilot discovered that when they refueled, they hadn't switched over to the fuel tank, and the airship attendant hadn't bothered to refill the empty one. When they finally got to Nashville, Elvis announced half-jokingly, "Man, I don't think I'll ever fly again."
Yeah, and they on the way back, because they had to go right back to Texas. So after that they took a commercial flight.
Yeah,
they didn't take the load.
So in the sessions right there they went to, they didn't bring in all the Jordanaires. They just brought in Stoker, and he was pissed. The sound he said.
That's when he get it. Is that the time when he received the gold record for Heartbreak Hotel? Was it that session at Nashville?
I think so. Yeah.
The 14th on April.
Yeah.
I think that was right around that time.
Yeah. So we covered a couple more chapters, guys. Any other comments? I think it was. I think this book is. Are we dragging on, or what do you guys think? Let me know if you're enjoying this, because I want to make sure that we have good conversation with it.
I think Scotty needed to change the underwear after that flight.
Yeah. But let us know in the comments or right now. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I had planned on covering. We got some new stuff. Don't forget about. Let me see if is that available. Man with chat.
Yeah, I really want to read Scotty's book. He's probably got some great stories in there.
Concert Corner right there. 9 o'clock. It's going to be 9 p.m.
Hello?
We have somebody calling in. Hold on.
Hello? Hello?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello?
Hi, Rick. It's Susan.
Hi, Susan. Can you guys hear Susan?
A little bit.
Up if you got it.
Yeah, turn the volume up.
Okay.
Hi, Susan.
All right.
Hello, hello.
All right, so let me get back to the phone here. We got that.
For English, press 1. Para español, press 2.
I know what it is. Audio.
Izofuna isiZulu qeda 3.
All right. Can you hear us? You know what? I don't know why I'm losing.
You're losing Susan?
Oh, you know why? I forgot. Okay, I forgot. I took off the Bluetooth, so we should have this on here.
Like
Okay,
Susan when she tried.
Let's see. That's what I get. Yeah, I hear you. I'm still trying to get some of this technical stuff done, and I tried a different input today. I need to go back to the Bluetooth when I do this. It'll be a whole lot better. So how you doing? What do you think about the book? What do you think about what we're doing?
You know, I love the book. I love what you're doing, and we have such great discussions. It's really good.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Think it opens up a lot. You know, I have read this book years ago, so for me, it's just like starting all over again because there's so much to remember.
Yeah.
So much detail. And I'm a little further ahead. This won't ruin it for anybody, but you were talking earlier about Deborah Pageant, you know, in the movie.
Right.
And then talking about him being on the Milton Berle show. This is the funniest thing I read. I never remembered this, but, you know, he didn't know Deborah, you know, when he first, you know, he didn't meet her first on the movie set.
Right.
And so an interviewer is telling him, you know, some guy from the New York Herald is in an interview with him, and he's saying, people are saying really nasty things about you, you know, that you're obscene, and how do you take that? And remember, he was on Milton Berle with Deborah Pageant. She
Right.
had like a quick, you know, walk on, and it was kind of funny. So this is what he says, and it just made me laugh so hard. He says, "Did you see the show?" He said, "This Deborah Pageant is on the same show as me. She wore a tight thing with feathers on the behind where they wiggle the most, and I never saw anything like it. Man, she bumped and pushed all over the place, and I'm the little boy blue, and who do they say is obscene? Me."
Yeah. Yeah. It's like in the interview for the Madison Square Garden shows, and you know, he asked about the new music. He says, "Man," he says, "I was tame compared to what they do these days."
Yeah, all I did was wiggle a little.
Look at Jim Morrison and you know, and Mick Jagger and all them. I mean, there was some. He, like he says, he was tame, and he was still tame.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
It's so cute because he later, you know, had this huge crush on Deborah, and
Oh, yeah.
wonderful and such a lovely lady to talk to and everything. But I just thought, he was like, why are they picking on me? Why is everybody always picking on me and what I'm doing?
Why is everybody always picking on me? Yeah.
but yet for him,
And there's so many nuances in Girl Next books that you don't find in a lot of places, and he covers so many details of the productions and the shows and the behind the scenes, and that's why the Parker books.
Oh, well, that's cute, Rick. All right, hold on a second there, dear. I gotta fix something here. I gotta turn that back off. I hit a setting by mistake. So, you still there, Susan? Okay. Of course, I have no volume now. Man, you know, don't hire me as an engineer. I mean, Felton puts me to shame. So that's that one.
Yesterday, I was listening to the in the studio. Cam was. I kept laughing. He's like, "Felton, shut the hell up."
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard. I was trying to set up my show, but I was listening, and it was like I kept hearing Cam go, "Was Felton, shut the hell up."
So Susan, I agree with you. That Milton Berle show was great. I mean, just his whole interaction, especially when Deborah Paget came out there, and you know, Milton says Elvis Presley, and she just starts screaming and hugging on him.
But that's where a lot started, was his performance of Hound Dog on Milton Berle. I think that's where a lot of the real bad stuff started. Like a lot of the, you know, people getting on.
Hold on. I don't know why I'm having issues with this Bluetooth today. It's just it's crazy. Hold on 1 second, Susan. I don't know why that Bluetooth won't turn off. All right, I don't know. Can you hear me, Susan? Yeah, you're so faint. Yeah, do me a favor, Susan. Hang up, call me back in about 1 minute. I'm going to change this thing back to. I appreciate everybody's patience here. connect to that. Okay, that should come through a lot better. So I'm going to wait till she... Hopefully she'll call right back. I'll get this sorted out. So when we're doing this show, I have to stay on Bluetooth. But when Cam and I do the other one, we'll have to go to the
cable.
Actually, I might be able to leave them both on. We'll see. But anyway, guys, listen. I hope everybody. I hope she calls back. I hope everybody's enjoying it. You know, Susan sounds like she's. I enjoy it. I love the conversations and the different. Okay, audio. Oh, there we go. I bet you're loud and clear now, there, Susan. Okay, why is it doing that now? Okay, 1. Jeez.
What the hell is my neighbor's mowing their lawn?
All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm having issues with this phone here.
What the frick is that?
All right. I'm sorry, Susan. I think I need to sort this out. Everybody, I appreciate y'all's patience with this. Let me, on the inside the studio, I've got a lot of good requests, so send me some more. We're going to dive more into the American Sound Studios on a separate inside the studio. A lot of songs to go there, so, you know, if you want to try one more time, Susan, go ahead. I think I got the problem resolved, so. But anyway, we covered a lot of stuff today. We did some trivia and all that, and I really appreciate it. Everybody's feedback. It's good. It's really good. We got some good books coming up. So watch for our notifications for some other live chats this week on some books. I think we're going to cover these 2 Elvis, and Colonel books. I'll see if I can get a copy to Rich and Cam to read if they can join in with us, if they're going to be able to join in. One thing I do want to say is we are having a few issues regarding the merch store. And, up until recently, we've never really had an issue with delivery and how long it takes to get the product. But the last 2 people, and I'm waiting on an order too that I placed a week ago for a test. And so I don't know what you think, Rich, but I think at the moment, till we resolve what's going on, I would hold off on purchasing any merchandise because we might be going to another channel. Is that right, Rich? I mean, a different.
That's exactly right. I'm going to start. I mean, I have a because I thought about this yesterday because I do my raffle once a month and I give away stuff. So my thing is now. If somebody wins something, somebody is going to win something. Now, how long is it going to take for that person to get it?
Right.
So, I mean, I still have the raffle going on. So I think I might delay the next one if I don't find another platform by then. But I am going to be looking for a new platform because this is unprofessional. It's just flat out unprofessional. People order stuff. They expect it at a certain time. It should be there. There's no excuse. We're in April. I don't want to hear no, excuse my language, I don't want to hear no bullshit about the holidays. It's freaking almost May. Come on, get it together, man. So it reflects badly on us, one thing, and it's not fair to the people that buy this stuff. It's just not. So with those things in mind, I am going to be, starting this week, I'm going to be looking for another platform. One that we can rely on and that's professional, all the above. You know what I mean? Because this is just nonsense now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sorry, Susan. I think I know what's wrong. I can dial you right now if you want, but otherwise we can just wait till next week. I hate to lose. You were bringing us some cool stuff about Milton Berle's show.
That's
what
good.
we want everybody to do. We want people to call in on it, and on the, especially when we start doing more with the radio shows. We're looking forward to people calling in, and we're doing them. Like I said, we're doing the March 20th, 1974 concert from Memphis. The one when he, I think that was the first time he played Memphis since the '60s. Right? When he from '69 on, Was 74 was the first time he played Memphis during that time period. I think that was his first show.
I think you're right on that. I've heard something about that.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen Inside the Studio, Cam and I had a blast with it, and we think it's one of the best ones we've done.
That was a
Song-wise.
great show yesterday.
Yeah, so we're going to keep moving right along. We got some great requests. We're going to have a couple guests coming up to do the show with us and, get their insight. We're just going to have fun.
I tell you, I actually, not just the music. I said this on my live stream yesterday. I actually learn a lot listening to you guys talk about it. Believe it or not, like that studio. You both have that studio mentality. You can hear like when certain things are off, when certain things are accented more than other things. It's when I listen to that, I'm actually learning. Not only is the music great, but I'm learning from you guys.
Well, that's why we want to do that. That's what we want people to kind of get a. And I know I harp about the headphones, but I want to tell you, if you got to borrow a pair just to see what it's like from somebody, do it. Or you know what, go to a Best Buy or whatever stores you get stuff like that.
It's a big difference. Oh my God.
Go there, plug it into your cell phone or whatever. Plug in a pair of headphones to your cell phone, and go to Inside the Studio and listen to it. And you're gonna turn to the guy and say, "Put it on my card, baby. I'm buying these suckers."
Yeah.
And here's the price range that I think where you're going to get a good one. And I know that not everybody can. And to be honest with you, I'm paying it on time because I can't afford to buy it all at one shot. But where I'm buying it on time is, there's no interest in all that. I do it in three payments. But, actually the headphones are paid off now. But, I prefer quality. I could go $300, $400, $500 worth, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to notice enough of a difference between them. I hear what I need to hear. Cam, I tell you that same thing.
Oh yeah.
I got him a set. He's got almost the same set that I have.
You got the upgrade on my set.
Yeah, and then if you I remember the day he got him, and all of a sudden, he says, he couldn't take him off. He was listening to him. He just heard a whole new perspective.
Just sorry, I interrupted you. Just so that you guys know, the difference between my headsets and Rick's headsets are 3 decibels. It's actually so low the human ear can't hear it. That's literally the difference. He can go 3 decibels lower into the bass range than what I can, but anything below 7 decibels, the human ear can't hear. So we basically got the identical pair of headphones.
And it's just great to hear the separation. You guys will hear, especially when we're talking about it. Like yesterday on the show we did yesterday. We were talking about Power of My Love, and what was it? The brass you didn't really like so much, and I did.
Yeah, it was a bit loud.
And that's that's the difference between that's what's great. But Cam and I doing this because we do have a little bit of a different taste and stuff, and it just it highlights stuff. Right? You say, did you hear that? And sometimes I don't. I have to go back and listen to it. But I could sit here and talk music. All day long, and I on the last live feed, I kind of it was pretty rough, but I got my guitar out and played it, and I plan on working up some really good stuff to do it every now and then. Cam and I are going to do some collaboration somewhere along the line, and let you all be punished or watch it. But I think we've been 2 hours. I appreciate everybody that's hung around. Hi, Catherine. Just get ready to leave, but I hope you catch it on the
replay.
You'll enjoy it. We appreciate everybody's support. I just if it wasn't for you guys that watch this and give us the feedback and talk with us and send me emails and conversations and we have chats. I have some conversations. That just makes my day. I'm telling you, it honestly makes my day. And I don't say this to make for sympathy because I don't need that. But I think it makes it good in the aspect that I'm home alone. You know, out of a 24-hour day, I'm home alone at least 18 to 20 hours a day because my wife works so freaking much. But this is what keeps my life sane, and I enjoy the fact that I have peace and quiet. I've got my 2 pups, who are the light of my life. Even though
that's me and Ken.
Woof. Yeah, so I got one's an old thief. She'll take off her stuff. Just don't get in the same room. You guys will wind up sniffing each other. Susan, thank you. This is what we do. You know, I look at it, and people, when people say, well, you don't have a whole lot of views on this and that. I don't look at the views. I look at the quality of what we're putting out, and I would rather have 50 views of a stream that we're doing opposed to 200 views when the quality of the 200 views isn't, it's just not that. It's just, it's almost a clickbait, bam, 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 thank you, ma'am, I'm out of here. Well, that's not how I am. We do, and we go off. We ramble sometimes, but that's us. That's what you're going to get from us 3 guys, and it's going to be about Elvis. It's going to be about music, and nothing makes it more satisfying than to have you guys leave comments, tell us about it, and all that.
Yep.
I've noticed that I was thinking about a few people used to follow me, and they don't follow me anymore. Maybe it's just what we do is not their taste, but that's fine.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, we're doing what we want to do, and I think there's a lot of people out there that will enjoy our stupid sense of humor and our enjoyment of what we do. And we're all haberdashery or whatever, that it's just like a melee. We don't script anything. I put stuff in here, and a lot of stuff's left over, and we like having you listen. Enjoy number 32, Catherine Lopez. Don't rush
I
the years.
wish I was at 32 still.
Yeah. You know what? 32. What year was that? That would be, for me, that would be 1990. I was born in 58. Would that be 1990?
32? What year would that be?
No, 88. That's 1990.
Well, 32 to 58 would come out an even.
Yeah, it's 1990.
It was 1990.
Yeah, 1990.
That'd be like 2003 for me.
Oh man, that was a good time. I was working for the Ritz-Carlton. They moved me around. I was single. I was living in Aspen. I went to Hawaii. It was fun. Then it got not fun because it was all work then. You guys are like my big younger brothers. Oh, thank you for saying younger.
Oh,
yeah.
Who said that?
No, we enjoy it. I sent off to Olga this week. She should, according to the tracking, she should get it tomorrow. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I sent her a picture of the press passes. So she's got a large one that if she wants to, she can hang it from her rear view mirror. Or,
there you
go. Or she's got some small ones. So it's gonna be. I don't have it uploaded, but
we got to do we got to get put our resources together and get like a Blue Moon Radio magnet done for a car.
Cheap. I can get one done. You design it, and I'll order it, man. They're not. I can get a nice size magnet for about $40. They're really cheap, and I can print 8x10 ones easily. I've got the magnetic print paper. So, anyways, it's going to be fun. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. I'm just excited about it. And I'm hoping these kind of, get her in some places that most people, don't.
It's going to be interesting to see how that goes on Elvis Week. I really can't wait for that.
All right. Everybody keeps saying they're having a hard time hearing me. And I don't understand why.
Yeah, your volume is a bit down.
Yeah.
Is that better?
When you get close to it, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Tell me if that's better, guys, so I can mark it for the next time.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, that's better.
You know what? I think when I was blowing my nose, I turned the volume down, and I didn't want everybody to listen to.
Yeah.
Even though we have the sound effects of it, I'm not going to do it live. So, anyways, I don't know what else. What have I got? I got. Next week, I'll share some pictures of Olga with another one of the T-shirts that she got. And I don't know. I'm excited to do these other ones on the kernel.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to all the stuff in the pipeline. Of course,
Yeah.
I've got a feeling, and I've said this before, and it happened. Something big is gonna pop somewhere, very, very soon.
Well, we're excited about it. I
it's
am.
Gonna be
between the radio and this, and being able to do I'll be able to record the video of us doing the radio show and then put that up. It's just all the podcasts we can do, and all.
Did you see the? I don't know if you saw it, Rick. That they said the radio. What is it? Live 365 is available in Mexico now.
Oh, is it really? Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
maybe it's part of the trade agreement.
I have no idea. We were thrown into the whole thing.
That's cool.
We'll give you Blue Moon Radio if you.
Yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha.
Yeah, that's going to be our station. We're going to convert it.
We could do an hour thing of fun Acapulco songs where he does.
Yeah.
They would enjoy that.
Yeah, no, that's actually true. Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah. So any ideas you guys got to I'll turn it down the headphones. Any ideas you have for the show that you want to see happen, let us know, because we can get very creative. As far as what we do, Rich works on a lot of the graphics, and then I take it from there. I work on videos, and we both, between us two, and then Cam, he's the how do you say, he's the life of the videos, to me. What keeps us going, because he can keep a conversation going. Yeah. Trust me, we were 3 hours yesterday. When we recorded inside the studio on Thursday, it was an hour and 15-minute video, and we were we were connected for 3 hours. And it's just, and it's all Elvis stuff. It's not, none of it's like talking about world situations, because I don't do that. No. Politics and religion are not allowed on my channel to discuss.
Well, we're as advertised, and nothing else, really. Yeah. That's what it is.
But to be fair too, I might be the fire, but you can't get the heat if you don't have the paper and the wood together with the match. So right. without the paper and the wood, me being the match would mean nothing.
Right.
Well, hi, Catherine.
What else we got? I guess we can. I know what my problem is.
Catherine, hi, Kat.
I don't really have anything else to say. I have some other stuff that's just, we'll save it for next week, because it'll open up conversations. Just some of the crap that I find on Facebook that irritates me, and it's just like you shake your head. Why?
I see it all the time, man.
It's just aggravating.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's been fun. I've enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully not much longer, and Rich is going to be able to be more involved in some of our live streams.
Yeah, that's going to be very
we told him the other day, we seriously miss him on this. It's just like, trying to ride a tricycle and you got the right rear.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah. Well,
I love you guys.
Well.
No, it's going to, within the next week, I would say things are going to be different.
We're going to get Rich in on another Inside the Studio. We'll let him pick the songs this time, and we'll do what he wants to do. So,
hey, now, be careful. You might not want that.
It's
forbidden. Old McDonald is forbidden, though. We're not going to do that one.
All right, come on.
There's an incentive.
All right, Barb. Thank you. Let's kind of catch up in the comments, and we'll say adios, muchachos. Barb, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Catherine, I'm glad you made it.
What?
Cat. Go ahead, Rich. I'm sorry.
No, it was me. You said somebody ate your nachos?
Someone ate my nachos? Okay, you've got me on this one.
Oh, God.
No, I'm just busting your nut.
So I'm sure Susan won't mind me saying this, but
He said something that sounded just like that, right?
oh, you know what? Sometimes when I'm talking, I have to stop and think about the fact that it's sad because I sit here and I've gotten to the point where I kind of mumble stuff sometimes, and I have to stop and think. Nobody's going to have any freaking clue what I just said. He's such an ass. He is such a. I got to figure out why my music's not playing for me. Dude. I can get these. I can get like.
You can't fix stupid.
No, just look at me.
I can get the. But these are not playing. And anyway, I guess you guys can hear it, but I can't.
But very soft.
I feel left out. I've been a bad boy. All right, guys. Thank you all. Susan, thank you. Try again next week. I promise you, I will go Bluetooth only when we're on the live coffee date, because I wouldn't need any other input for that. And then that's it. You guys got anything else?
No, I just want to thank everybody again for all your love and support, man. You guys are the foundation of what we do. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, Lori. Thanks, everybody. Everybody on the list. Barb, everybody. I know Dylan's probably gone and Brent's probably gone, but, thank you guys if you're going to watch the rest on replay. Everybody. Tracy, I know that you guys head on over to Steve's show, and that's awesome, I kind of wish we could change our time, but we're so set in this time now. I can't do it. And plus, it just works out for us.
Don't worry about it.
More books. We're going to really get into some books, and some more music inside the studio, and radio shows and concerts and everything else that we can do. So I'm saying adios, muchachos. Oh, that's what you think. Eat my nachos. I said muchachos.
Oh, somebody ate your nachos.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.
TCB.